There we go. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Shred Show Live. I am excited to be hanging out with my boy Kevin Ducey this morning. You know him, you love him, you've seen him around the industry. He's always sharing good stuff. And I think, Kevin, this is the first time I've actually had you on the show, which is kind of unbelievable to me because you and I have been friends for so long. We've continued to be friends because we're always sharing the knowledge and the expertise that we're going to be talking about today. We're talking about leadership. We're talking about relationships. And ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about side hustles. You aren't going to want to miss this one. You're going to want to share this. You're going to want to be in and part of this discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready? It is time to shred. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And again, welcome to the Shred Show. I'm hanging out with Kevin Ducey, who is the VP of Biz Dev over at Comma Insurance. And Kevin, like I mentioned, you and I have been friends for years. We're always seeing each other on, I like to call it the mortgage circuit at the different events that are around the industry, always having good discussions. Last event you and I were hanging out was the Momentum Builder event down in Vegas. Shout out to Don and Gino for an incredible event. But you and I had some really great discussions while we were there, my friend. I mean, we were talking CRMs. We were talking leadership. We were talking relationships. We were talking insurance. We were talking everything under the sun. And I'm like, bro, we gotta chop it up. And I'm excited to have you on the show, my friend.
Dude, I'm excited to be here. Your energy is always contagious. Who needs a cup of coffee when you got my man Pitts in your life? Like,
right?
Just straight bringing it, dude. I love it. Thank you so much.
You don't need a cup of coffee. You just need a cup of shred in the morning. Come shred with us, and we'll get you going on the day. But Kevin, you really have you're one of those leaders that continues to be forefront. And like I said, anytime I see you, you're always willing to share value and give back to this industry. And that's what I'm like, bro, why haven't let's get you on the show. Let's have a valuable discussion for all our mortgage friends and family out there today. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. And we're going to be coming at it from a little bit of a different standpoint, being that you're with Comma Insurance. You know, we're always talking mortgage but insurance plays such a big part of mortgage. And I know it seems like such a talking insurance, that's dull. We're not just going to talk insurance. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk leadership. We're going to talk a little bit insurance as well. And even a little bit of side hustle, especially now more than ever with the market that we're in. Having a little bit of a side hustle that plays into what we're already doing is not a bad thing. But before we get into all that discussion, share your background. For those who maybe don't know, again, you've been in this industry for a long time in different capacities, but how'd you get started in this industry?
Well, it's kind of funny. I was with a staffing company. It's been a lot of my professional career in staffing, mainly staffing sales, and I was in a role that really wasn't fitting me. I was a hunter, man. I had no team. I was just going out and trying to bag whales. And I've always enjoyed sales, but I enjoy sales training, sales leadership much more than the actual thrill of the hunt and the kill, if you will, for sales. And I was presented with an opportunity to come to Whiteboard CRM a little over 4 years ago. And I thought it was fascinating. I'd spent a ton of time in CRMs, Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, Pipedrive, you name it, Zoho, a lot of different ones. And when I saw what Whiteboard could do, I thought it was really cool. It was the first time I'd ever seen a vertical-based CRM, so specific to an industry. Most CRMs I'd ever spent any time with were agnostic, and you had to build them all out based on your industry.
Sure.
And so I spent a little over 2.5 years there. I was there for 6 months, and then moved into the president role. Was leading the organization. We tripled our revenue in the time that I was there. We were having great growth, but we were kind of hamstrung by some things on the back end, specifically the technology, the foundation of which the product was built on. And so we were acquired by Daily AI. And with that time, I moved over to Comma Insurance. So I've been with Comma Insurance since May of 21, so just a little less than 2 years now. And it's a phenomenal place to be. It's opening up doors and offering tremendous value to loan officers. And I love that. I love being in this industry. And it was one of those things that didn't take me very long. So when I was at Whiteboard, one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to talk to top producers who utilized our product, because that's really where you get the buy-in, right? And inevitably, whenever I would talk to a producer doing 150, 200, 300, 400 units a year, they would never talk about their volume. They would never talk about their commissions. They were talking about putting families in homes. And it was an epiphany to me, is like, nobody needs a freaking mortgage. No, they need what it provides. And the people who understood that truly make it their mission to take care of their clients and their customers and provide people with the opportunity to own a home, which is part of the American dream. It changes generational wealth and generational poverty by taking people out of generational poverty by having an asset you can give to them. And so I just fell in love with that. And here I am. And I want to stay connected to the mortgage industry probably for the rest of my career.
I love it. And I mean, you talk about that, and even the way that you talk, and anytime you present, anytime I hear you, you just exude enthusiasm yourself and positivity. And that's why I was excited to have you on, because in the industry that we're in, the market, things are a little bit crazy. But you and I, when we were having this discussion a few weeks ago, you were just so positive. And I'm like, Kevin, that's what we got to talk more about. So I want to take this conversation in a couple different ways, but I want to start with like leadership and relationships, because both those two things in particular, I think more than ever are critical. Whether you're an actual leader of a large organization or you're the leader of just maybe it's just you and one or two other people, leadership is such a huge role in your future success. Building those relationships with your team is such a big success. Team is such a big part of what we need to be focusing on. So let's talk a little bit leadership, because I think you have a unique take on this as well.
Yeah, it's something that I was really blessed with early in my career as a young man, that I had some leaders that took time with me to coach, train, and teach me that leadership wasn't just something you were born with. Now you can have some natural attributes that you can apply to it, right?
Sure.
I think you look at, you're a very confident guy. I mean, just look at the way you rock your bill, your hat, like your swag, like it comes from some confidence. That confidence was instilled in you probably from an early age, probably from mom or dad. And so those are things that can help you be a leader, but leaders can really be cultivated and developed. And I had people, Steve Ivey, Dean Butchin, Jay Reed, Wayne Larkin, dudes in the staffing industry that took me aside and said, hey, listen, you have some of these natural abilities. We want you to read this. We want you to be involved with this. We want to put you forward here. And leadership will travel no matter what industry you're in. I had never spent any time in software. I'd never spent any time in the mortgage industry, but I had leadership and sales skills. And those were the two things that I applied at Whiteboard that helped us grow. And I look at our time at Whiteboard, and here we are, we're a startup. So anybody who's ever spent time in a startup, and startups and mortgages are similar, man. It's painting the plane while you're flying, right?
Absolutely.
No 2 days are the same. There's always a problem. There's always something, and you got to land the daggum thing at the same time, right? So there was just an effort. What I learned here in leadership and from those people that worked with me, that trained me, and I think this is the same. It's the same concept in sales, right? If we're selling in 2023, you have to be a consultative-based salesperson. Simply pitching product and being slick, old used car sales, that crap does not work anymore. People are too educated. They've got too many things at their disposal, and they're getting hit up from all different directions. So you have to be consultative. You have to be consultative as a leader. And the only way you can be consultative as a salesperson or a leader is to truly give a crap about the person sitting across from you, to care about what's important to them, right? I know everybody thinks people are money motivated. The amount of people in this world that are actually money motivated are very, very slim, very small. And what that means is, yes, we're motivated to have money because what it provides for us.
Of course.
Right? Freedom, security. But we don't get up in the morning, look at our bank account and say, man, where's Josh at today? Am I beating him in my bank account? Who's got more zeros there today, me or him? That's a truly money motivated individual, right? And
absolutely.
So you can't just solve the problems of the people you're sitting across from with dollars, which is a very flawed leadership technique. You got to understand what that money's providing for them and what's important to them. And I think that's the same thing with the realtor relationships that our loan officers are dealing with right now.
100% right now, bro.
How often are these loan officers, our customers, Josh, our friends, talking to their realtors about what their 3 to 5 year plans are and their goals and where they want to take their brokerage, their realtor shop, what's most important to them, in their relationship with the loan officer? Tell me about a bad experience you had with the loan officer and why. Tell me about the best relationship you had and why. And then how can you emulate that? Because people are so different. For instance, I got a loan shop, right? It's a bunch of loan officers. They're based in Colorado and they're great people. So there's like 4 or 5 different loan officers. They have the one comma insurance agent. we have 5 different ways that each one of those people want to be communicated with when they're walking their client through an insurance process.
You bet.
He has to have details on how every one of them wants to be communicated with. And that's the same kind of steps and processes that you need to take with your team, your processors, your LOAs, your LOs that are reporting to, and your realtor partners. And if you take the time to do that, I had a buddy of mine said, hey, listen, dude, if you ever quit my gym, I don't want you to quit my gym. I want you to quit our friendship. That's the way I want you to look at it. And yeah. And I felt that way at Whiteboard. Like when customers would leave Whiteboard, I always wanted to be like, just don't leave mad, right? Just don't leave. We'll fix this, but feel like you're leaving a friend, and that's okay. We'll figure something out, but don't leave mad. And man, when you can develop those relationships, that's where it's at.
This is deep. Like, this is one of those things. I don't know if I've ever gone on a conversation. This is one of those things, but I'm so glad that you bring this up, bro, because that's how it really is. That's how relationships, that's how business should be driven. 100%. It should be that deep. Like, if you are building a relationship in that way, and again, the world, I'm glad that you even brought up the sales cycles and how things are working, because consumers are very educated these days. It's a very, very different way of doing business. And if you build a relationship in that way where it's like, hey, you're not just quitting me, you're not just quitting the gym, you're quitting a relationship, it's a much more emotional decision to make. Like, I'm not just leaving, like, it's not just the comma, it's not just business, I'm ditching Kevin. And that's like, whoa, like, am I willing to did you build the relationship in a way that people, they never want to leave you just because that they know, they trust you, they have that confidence, they have that respect, they have that love and admiration for you. Dude, that's what it's all about. This is like deep, Kevin. Like, we're getting in some really crazy places.
I love this. That's one of the things I take super amount of pride in here, and I don't mean to sound arrogant here, but I have folks that I've worked with at Whiteboard. I've been gone from there for 2 years now that are asking me questions about CRM, that are asking me questions about Whiteboard, or even Daily AI, which is becoming ADM now. Like, hey, how do I do this? And I love that. I mean, there's a part of them that are like, hey man, I don't want to bother you. Well, there's also this human instinct. If you have people in your life that can help you, ask for help. There are people, like, it's one of the biggest things that people like to do for other people is help other people, but people don't ask for help because they're afraid they're going to put them out. So you have a group of people wanting to help and a group of people needing to help, and they don't connect because they're too worried to ask for help. I mean, think about when you get asked for help somebody, man, it feels good. Like, you want to do that. And I love that we were able to build, and I say we because it was definitely not just me. Like, Kevin couldn't fix anything from a software problem. Like, that was just like over my head. I had to rely on guys like Levi and Justin and Philip and Matt and those dudes that took care of everything for us. But I took care of the relationship side, and that's, you have to create that bond with people. And when you do that, you're going to grow your business. It's just a matter of time.
It is. Like, again, it goes back to what we mentioned earlier, is team. Like, and my sign in the background, teamwork makes a dream, where you got to have a team that supports you, surrounds you. I want to shift a little bit because you and I were having this conversation too, and it's something that's so almost far removed from me that I don't think about it, but it does play such a big role in the mortgage process, in the home buying journey that we go. We talk about that home buying journey so much, but being that common insurance, you guys are in the insurance realm. We've seen mortgage interest rates spike. We've seen mortgage interest rates go up in a very significant way from where they were a couple years ago. But I don't think we correlate that with insurance, with what insurance rates are doing, because they've gone up significantly as well. And that affects all of our consumers. Again, we are all worried about debt to income and how all that plays into it. Insurance has taken a big shift as well, and rates have gone up there. And
it's not going to slow down. Yeah, we're looking at, probably 20% across the board of what people are looking at paying in their insurance premiums. 15 to 20%.
Dude, that's big.
And it's going to stay that way for a while. So insurance normally lags behind inflation, right?
Sure.
So we saw massive amounts of inflation in the past 12 months. Insurance agencies only really get hit hard with that because they really want to keep their premiums low, because that's where they maintain a competitive edge with their clients. And so as that starts to escalate, right, inflation starts to escalate, and then all of a sudden you get a claim. And like, think about where home prices. So this is our target audience. They understand where home prices have gone. Where home prices have gone in the last 5 to 10 years, they've skyrocketed. So what does that mean from reconstruction cost? Furthermore, what's lumber? What's a roof cost? What's oil and gas cost? Well, oil and gas goes into a roof. It goes into getting people on the job site to do that. So insurance companies are trying to make sure that they have enough liquidity to handle losses as things escalate. Think about how many $50,000 cars are on the road today, man. It's ginormous. All right. Funny story. Back in my wife's car, out of the garage the other day, clip her side view mirror because I'm a bonehead, break the side view mirror off.
Bro, were you texting?
No, I wasn't. She was in the car with me and my kids. They got a laugh out of it. Trust me.
Son of a.
Right? I think we were on the way to church.
No good deed goes unpunished, bro.
So it's $2,500, man.
For a mirror?
For a side view mirror. I mean, that's with labor.
Sure, of course.
Anybody knows anything about cars, a side view mirror 15 years ago was $150 replacement, man, and probably could have done it myself. So that's so if I wanted to claim that, which I didn't, because I don't want to come out of that. I mean, it's probably got $1,000 deductible anyway. So it's not worth it. But you got to think about what insurance companies are having to deal with. And so one of the things that I would encourage all of the loan officers to do is to have a relationship with a brokerage, right?
Sure.
And I will say this in the insurance world. I think brokers are better in the insurance world.
Little plug in there. I like it.
I mean, hey, listen, I don't want to get into all that on the mortgage world. But in the insurance world, you've got to have the opportunity to open it up to different carriers because there are aggressive carriers that are going to get out there that can save your clients some money. And don't get me wrong, State Farm does an amazing job of what they do. But they can only quote with State Farm. I love USAA. I'm a veteran. They can only quote what they can quote. And so when you work with a brokerage, they've got the opportunities here to look at multiple different carriers: Progressive, Allstate, Geico, Nationwide, Travelers, Safeco, Hanover, Openly, Chubb, all the ones that are out there. And some companies you don't even know of that are available that can really take care of your clients. And if you want to give them something, I'd really look at partnering with a broker in the community.
See, but this is why, this is a really good kind of a conversation here because, again, as mortgage advisors, I hate the word loan officer because I think loan officer is just a crappy word, but mortgage advisors, that's what we're here for. Like you said, having options for our clients anytime. A loan officer will just be like, oh, we'll go here, you work with your insurance guy. A mortgage advisor is going to find you the best opportunity across the board, not just on your mortgage rate, not just your program, your insurance, title. They're doing they're really taking advantage. They're helping you through this home buying journey. This isn't just simply like, oh, yep, I'll get you the best rate. It's across the board. That's why I was so excited for this conversation, especially now, is because as mortgage advisors, it's so much more than it's just quoting you the best interest rate and getting you the best pricing. That's not it anymore. If you really want to be valuable to your consumer, it goes across the board. A couple of quick shout outs real quick while we're here. Shane Kidwell from 30,000 feet. Hey, safe travels, Shane. Always good hearing from you, my friend. Nick Carpenter was jumping in as well. What up, y'all? What up, my friend? So, Kevin, with that being said, I mean, really, that's what partnering is all about. That's what relationships are all about. Being able to work, like you said, with a broker, like a company like Common Insurance, it really helps you be that person, be that advisor for your clients. That's what they want right now. With inflation going up, with interest rates going up, with insurance rates going up, anything you can do, I mean, with the layoffs that are happening, anything you can do to help your client, help your community, you should be doing it. Even if it's like 20, 30 bucks here, 20, 30 bucks in the long run a month, that starts to add up, bro.
Well, yeah, and there's just there's just as many opportunities in insurance for the BS that's out there as there is in mortgage, right?
Sure.
We've been fighting the battle since day one of push button get mortgage. You know how much push button get insurance is out there?
Oh, geez.
And listen, when you're not having a conversation with your client, when you're doing a consumer direct thing and the clients, like there's checks and balances that are going unmissed. Man, if there's insurance companies out there that are writing policies for your clients your client is not appropriately covered, and if there's something that happens and they cannot make a claim on their home or their car, I mean, you talk about things that can be catastrophic. I tell you something, they won't be buying a new home anytime soon, so they won't be coming to you for a loan anytime soon. So you've got to make sure that your clients are taken care of, and there's plenty of opportunities for them to not be taken care of out there.
Ooh, you're protecting them. That's a
100%,
whole no. Like
100%.
that is such a. I don't think we even think about it in that way because if they're not fully covered, if they're not protected, as you mentioned, with the rising rate or with the rising cost of building and all that, sometimes we don't think about that. It's like, oh, just go get insurance. Insurance is insurance. We all sometimes it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. But you're truly protecting your client as well, so they're covered in case the worst were to happen. God forbid. But if the worst were to happen, like shoot, like if they weren't fully covered, they're not getting a mortgage anytime soon. I wanna start shifting this just because I want to like on time, but common insurance and you in particular, I didn't even know like when you and I were having this last conversation that when we were in person, again, insurance is insurance, but then you even told me, you're like, well, common insurance allows for opportunities. I like to call a side hustle, almost an ancillary opportunities. And now more than ever, I mean, we heard Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, some of the guys who are way smarter than you and I, let's just call it as it is, with their side hustles. And I'm all about Shred. One of the things it stands for is side hustle, repeat every day, because you got to have a little side hustle going on there. And Com actually allows that. Com actually can help you with an ancillary or a side hustle, especially in a market right now. That could be a big deal for you. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's there's two things that the mortgage business doesn't give you if you're a producing loan officer a day in and day out and a mortgage advisor. And that is you do not get you have no wealth generating asset in that business, and there is no residual income. Every time you close a deal and get a commission on it, as soon as that's done, it's NFW. Now you figure it out. Now what, right? And I mean, I'm a salesperson my whole life. I get that. Like it's yesterday's trophies don't win tomorrow's games. Like I get that. But what we looked at, our founders, and God bless them, was amazing how they came up with this, was where is the part in the transaction that does have residual income and could potentially have a wealth generating asset, and that is insurance. Because if you are a mortgage advisor, when you tell your client to look at your an insurance company, they will go there. They will listen to you. You are walking 95% of them through the biggest transaction they've ever made in their life. And so when you say, hey, listen, you should go talk to my insurance advisor, Kevin, over here, they're probably going to do that. And then your insurance advisor at State Farm, Allstate, Nationwide, wherever you're sending them, is getting somewhere along the lines between $3,000 to $6,000 of lifetime value, probably closer to 8 or 9 now that we're looking at where insurance premiums are going, because you took 30 seconds to tell them where to go. So we wanted to build that out and build a platform for a loan officer to have that for themselves. And so we've done that. And so the biggest thing that loan officers mortgage advisors are always like, man, Kevin, how in the world do I don't have time. I can't get licensed. I can't run a business. And that's really where the beauty of what we do comes in. I like to say we're not an insurance company. We're a mortgage company that gives you conduit to insurance carriers. Dang. Right. So when you sign up from buy an insurance agency from us, we manage every aspect, soup to nuts, of you owning an insurance agency for you. We get the insurance agent license. We stand up the LLC, file it in the state. We manage your P&L. We handle all that. All you have to do is refer your clients to your insurance agent, and you reap the long-term rewards from it. And it's really a beautiful model. Hey, I'm not going to sit here and BS everybody, say it doesn't come with its challenges. It sure does, but it is giving loan officers the value that they give their clients back, right? If they're able to recruit from it. And really, like, I look at it, like I told you, I love loan officers, love mortgage advisors. I love the business that I'm in, because I truly believe they're about putting people in homes. Of course. I even think about my friend Isabel Williams. She's talking about, like, she loves putting single moms in homes. I'm like, dude, who cannot want to help somebody like that? I want to give our agency owners 5 to 10 more years of retirement. So that's the idea. When they sell the agency, they've recouped some residual income over a decade plus. They can go retire at 55, at 60 easier than they could at 65 or 70.
Dude, 100%. And that's why I was so excited, because again, we're not saying all of you should run out and become an insurance broker. We're not saying, like, none of us, we're not saying that at all. This is just when we first started talking about this and you shared the model, I was like, whoa, we're out there, like you said, helping people achieve that dream of home ownership. And we are referring them. I had my insurance guy back in the day. I never got anything. I don't want to call it kickback. We're not saying that, but I was referring him business all day. Like, and he did fantastic. And like you said, this isn't a get rich quick either. I don't want to be like, oh, we're going to jump in. Insurance is a long-term game like anything else, But why wouldn't you look for opportunities, especially right now? Just as we build relationships, why wouldn't you have somebody that you trust, that you can count on, in that you're sending them over to, but it's also helping you build your long-term wealth? In the mortgage, you said it, Kevin, there's no residual in mortgage. Like, there is absolutely no residual in mortgage. So if you can build an opportunity to have a sellable asset down the road, or have something that is going to help you produce that long-term income, even if it's a short, like even if it's a little bit here and there, again, going back to even saving our clients 20 or 30 bucks a month, even if you're getting a couple $100 a month from this, and as it grows, it can produce something long-term for you, that's why there's huge value there.
Yeah. Our probably our number one referral agency in the company. So we have a loan officer he's amazing about how he refers his clients. We gave him a check at the end of Q4, and he said, this almost lines up with the exact decline in my production. It almost made me whole from Q4 last year to this year.
Interesting.
And he's just like you said, he is a referral based guy. So he talks to his clients about insurance. He doesn't just send them an email. He doesn't just, hope his staff does it. He says, hey, listen, you got to go see my person over at Comma. They're going to take care of you. And it's been incredible. That feels really good, right? Because knowing because he's a great human being, and I know if I put more money in his pocket, that's more money for his community, and it's going to do more good things by him having more money, and I'm fine with that.
Dude, and that's just it. And that goes back to where this conversation started. It's about relationships. It's about leadership. It's about surrounding yourself with people. We're all about service here in this industry. Yep. We want to serve our communities. We want to help them. And it's conversations like this that we're having today, Kevin, from leadership, relationships, side hustles, in the insurance realm, that really starts to make us all think and brings it into perspective for us. So we're not just a transactional based business. We are those advisors. We are building those relationships. We're sending them to the people that we trust and rely on, because they trust and rely on us. So Kevin, this has been truly a brilliant conversation. I appreciate you coming on, and we've been going for 26 minutes. I feel like we just got started. There's all kinds of places we could go with this, but if you guys have any questions, Kevin, what's the best way to reach out with you and talk with you?
I'm active on Facebook. You can find me there. I imagine we got a mutual friend if you're in this industry. You can come directly to me at kevin.ducey@commainsurance.com. www.why.com, why.com. That is a website that is specifically built for potential owners of an insurance agency.
Sick.
So if you just go to comma.com, that's going to be more client facing. That's going to be more about real insurance. So we've got that built out for you there. And man, anybody want to reach out to me directly, I'd love to have a conversation with you. And listen, I want to share this one thing, Josh. LOs, mortgage advisors have had the side hustle for a while. We all know where that side hustle is: real estate, right? I'm in there too. It's a very smart, very good place to be. But I ask you, if I could sell you a property today for cash that you could sell in 5 years for 8x rent over mortgage and for value, would you do it? There's not a person out there that wouldn't do that. That's what our model projects. 20x in 10 years. Unless you're going to buy something in some super gentrified neighborhood 5 years before you got there, like, you are not getting that in real estate. The only way you get 20x in real estate is getting lucky or holding it for a really, really long time. 100%. You're not getting it in 10 years. So that's what we want to do for these LOs, and it's just part of the conversation.
It is part of the conversation, and that's just it. That's why I love it. What an incredible way to end this conversation. We all want to diversify. We're all looking at that. Let's just call it as it is. And Kevin and Comma and his team over there can help you do it. So reach out to our boy Kevin. We love him. Like I said, that's why I started this freaking conversation with him. So reach out to Kevin on the social medias, or we'll drop his email in as well. Kevin, thank you so much, man, for joining me today. This has been incredibly brilliant and incredibly insightful. This, for me, even, like, some people were like, oh, we're talking insurance. This has been the best damn insurance conversation we have ever had, man. So appreciate you sharing and hanging out with me today, bro. And looking forward to continuing our friendship and all the leadership that you bring to our industry. I appreciate you. And we appreciate everybody for jumping on here. It's been an incredible show. We appreciate you. We love you. Now it's time for all of you to go side hustle. Repeat every day. See ya.